All right. So final topic of tonight, okay, is playing without your stick and what it teaches. So one of the drills that I would love for people to start posting video of, all right? One thing with the work that I do, for the years, like people work with me, but they don't want to share that they work with me, right? They kind of want to keep me in their back pocket, and I get it. That's okay. It's not good for marketing, not good for business, but I like it. But you know what? If you do a drill that I recommend, try it, post it, let's see the video, right? Let's just change the game. I'm tired of just kind of keeping this, under wraps at times. So let's see what it works. So this is one that, like I'm staring down on the right side of my desk here. There's a 6 terabyte hard drive from my old iMac that is corrupted, and I can't get footage off of me getting shot on by a kid named Holden Catoni, who was an All-American. Um, uh, at Johns Hopkins at one point, and he lives in Calgary, and we went and I had him shoot on me. It was over Christmas break, and I brought some baseball shin guards and some sweatpants and some football pads, and I brought uh, like my gloves and my stick and whatever, and I threw my stick to the side, and I had Holden shoot on me for like a half hour. And I didn't use my stick. I basically stood in the cage like a field hockey goalie. And so if you don't know what that is, I encourage you to go like Google Maddie Hinch. Maddie Hinch is the greatest um, field hockey goalie of all time. She's British and she's a stud. And I use the word stud with the most amazing highlights, and maybe I can even pull this up here if I can. But the idea is that I want to talk about the evolution of goalies. So ice hockey goalies, 4 foot by 6 foot net. Puck goes to the right. They're using the right hand to make a save. Puck goes to the left. They're making the left hand left hand to make the save. And what ends up happening is that when you soccer goalie, same thing. So soccer goalie, as they grow, as they get from younger to older, the net expands. But primarily when they're 4 or they're 24, they're kind of playing the same way. All right, they're kind of playing the same way. And so what ends up happening is, so you look at other sports, you look at a handball goalie. Like handball goalie plays in a much larger net, kind of like a field hockey net, and they're gonna stand like like this, like they're gonna stand like a basketball player on defense. Now that's all great and that's all good, but those sports, I get it. Soccer goalie, a little different ball, different net, whatever. Ice hockey goalie, different sport, different rules. Puck, they can covered up, like whatever things. I get it. And then you have a field hockey goalie. And what's interesting about field hockey goalies is that they play very differently. And so what's really fascinating is that the stick in field hockey has become it's been more of an appendage than a tool with which they use. So now stick with me on this, okay? A lacrosse goalie is going to have a really hard time dropping their stick and just playing with their hands, then trying to go pick it up and whatever. I get it. This isn't as simple. But I just want to share it as an argument to that idea of like, okay, if we've got a goalie, I'll just play through this. If we've got a goalie in the cage trying to block as much as possible, as efficiently as possible, then what happens is the off stick hand takes a different position than it would on the stick. Okay. So the drill that I want to encourage you to do is to get your goalie in the cage without their stick and shoot on them and shoot on them. And you can use tennis balls. But the reason why I teach this is because a goalie, first of all, has to use their feet, right? If they're going to make a save down low. And what they quickly realize is that, you know what, I can't just do this bare. I can't do it with a pair of those little Nike, pardon me, but sanitary pads strapped to their shins. And then what ends up happening is that we're just evolving the evolution of a lacrosse goalie's development. Mind my ad here on Monday.com. I'm on my different account. There you go. This is a great website, by the way, called Love Hockey on YouTube. Love Hockey. It's all about field hockey. And so this is Matty Hinch. Okay. And so there's some people listening to this right now going like, he is so full of, you know what? Like he's lost his mind. But I just encourage you to look at this as a way to go like, all right, a goalie is designed to come out to block the cage. Now I get it. The girls are kind of stuck with the crease line. I get it. But the concept that this also shares is this idea that this is a funny one because she trips. But the idea here is that a goalie in any sport is designed to take up a certain part of the cage and to come out far enough to be bigger because they're protected. They can do that to the point where they can't go too far or else they get shot over. Right now in lacrosse, we can do that fairly easily, right? Like we can kind of fake a shot, but you'll notice, like, look at how a goalie stands in field hockey, right? Now, regardless, if you put a 6x6 foot net behind this goalie, I pretty much guarantee she's going to stand the same way. Her hands might just come in a little bit. So what I want to encourage you to do and is to get your goal. And this is a great way to break up practice if you've done it a lot, but also as a way to just kind of teach some stuff and go, hey, yeah, I get it. All right. If I am, if that ball is going to my off stick side, how can I get better at using my bottom hand to make that save? Or, one thing that I love about field hockey goalies is when they step, right? So we always have this conversation in field lacrosse about moving in front of the ball or stepping in front of the ball, which is a term I no longer use. But the idea of moving in front of the ball, you'll see a goalie will actually move and their hips will move, right? And so I had a lot of goalies this last year where they're flicking out a leg like a save, especially in the girls' game. They're flicking out a leg like they're going to make a kick save. But if you watch their hips just drop. They just drop and they end up kind of falling on their butt cheek, right? So the reason why I want to encourage you to just kind of mess around with your goalie like this is to increase their knowledge of making a save without their stick. Because I've said this for years, we get a stick in our goalie's hands and it almost screws up the base athleticism of a good kid, right? A good kid athletically. So I want you to mess around with this a little bit. Now, does the lacrosse goalie of the future, are they going to play with their stick in one hand and their other hand up like this? No, I don't believe so. But you guys all remember that clip that was on Instagram a couple years ago where there was like the whistle blew and the kid was the goalie was like walking to the bench and the midi took the shot anyway. And the goalie had like his left hand down by his side with his stick in it. And he just reached his right hand up and swatted away the ball. That is a very telling clip. Okay. And it's something that people laughed at, glossed over it and said, haha, look at that goalie's a badass. But the truth is that goalie was a badass. And I think there's some value to it. I remember the first PLL championship. Some of you guys remember me telling this story, but the idea was the first PLL championship, Matt Rambo overtime against, I think it was Tim Troutner, right? Ball gets shot off stick hip, and Tim Troutner brings his like perfectly good piece of equipment out of the way to get the stick head there, and the ball went right by him. Right in the time that he removed the bottom hand and try to get the stick head down, the ball went right by. That's a championship, friends. And to me, if I had a chance to train a guy like Tim Troutner, I'd be like, all right, listen, do you believe that you can't get your stick to every ball? Because I got video proof to show that that's true. And then the other thing is, well, okay, then how do you make that save? And he's a smart dude, I'm sure. And he would go, well, I just got to get my elbow there on my bottom hand. Great, let's train that. Okay, let's train it once before I get a welt so hard on my elbow I can't bend it. And then you're done for the day. Well, that's not elite, in my opinion. So that's what I mean when I believe we haven't seen the best goalies yet. The best goalies are in your backyard. So have at her. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com and check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.